Hi, I'm Darren Llewellyn. Welcome. I want to help you become a better public speaker. I've been a public speaker for over 25 years. I was the CEO of a training company. I've helped a lot of people in the past do this, and I think I can help you. Let's take a look. Something I want you to keep in mind. When you're a public speaker, you're the show. Not your PowerPoint presentation, which you may have showing behind you. The speaker is the show. Remember that. Your PowerPoint presentation is the least important part of what you're going to be doing. And too many people spend all of their time working on the PowerPoint and no time working on themselves. If you work hard to improve your methods, to improve your process of becoming a better public speaker, you will make a bigger impact on your audience's acceptance of what you're doing than all the work you ever did on your PowerPoint. Your PowerPoint slideshow is not what people are going to remember from your talk. Unless, I guess, they're really bad, they might remember a few of those. What people will remember is the speaker. They'll remember you for two reasons: if you're good or if you're bad. If you're mediocre, they won't remember. If you're really bad, they'll remember, not positively. But I want them to remember you for how much fun you were having, how much you enjoyed, how engaging you were as you were the speaker. So work on yourself. One of the first things, most important things that you need to work on is be yourself. Too many times I see speakers that have gone through way too much training on how to be a public speaker. If you know what I mean, they use all of the exact right hand gestures, facial expressions, all of that stuff. They're so polished, I can't hardly listen to them. And that's why I'm there. I'm there to listen to these people, not to judge how polished of a speaker they are. Some of the best speakers I've ever seen were the most unpolished speakers. Now, they didn't stand up there and say, all the time. They didn't make huge mistakes, but they were themselves. They were storytellers. They projected their personality. They didn't try to project somebody else's personality. I attended a big conference of speakers one time, and there was a speaker who, during his talk, he rode a unicycle while juggling things. He did a handstand on his podium and did all kinds of things like that as he ran around the stage. I remember all of that, but I'll tell you what I don't remember. I have no idea what he was talking about. None. I don't know what his speech was about. He was constantly out of breath. I kind of think the speech was about him and how cool he was and how he could do handstands on podiums. Look at me. I'm not going to be doing any handstands on podiums, but I promise you, if I'm a public speaker at an event you're at, I will be myself. Calluses and blemishes and all. It won't be pretty necessarily. I'm not going to ride a unicycle while juggling things, but I will be myself. And that's what you need to work on. You need to be yourself. There is a great speaker who I just love listening to, Warren Grecius. Warren Grecius is a sales trainer. He trains people how to be better salespeople. He wrote a book called The Best Damn Sales Book Ever or something like that. Great book. I began to listen. I'd listened to it on tape, how old am I? On my iPhone, and I really, really liked listening to him talk because he was the narrator. Well, he's got some other videos and other things too. And the thing about Warren is he's a New Yorker. He has that in-your-face New York attitude. He has a very deep New York accent. It takes you 2 seconds to figure out where he's from. And he's not ashamed of any of that and shouldn't be. He tells a story in one of his books where he was asked to speak in London, and somebody warned him, well, if you go over there, you got to really tone it down, tone this New York thing down. And he said, well, I can't, that's me. So he did it as Warren Grecius, was very well received and does a lot of business over there to this day. So be yourself. Don't be afraid to not be you. Another huge tip that I can give you, and this is a must. I don't care if you've spoken once in public or 1,000 times or been doing it for 25 years, practice. You have to practice. I practice sometimes when I don't even realize it. I'm driving in my car and I'm thinking about a slide or thinking about a part of my presentation. And I'm like, okay, I could say it like this. And then I'm talking to myself in the car. That's practice. When you may write down an outline of what you're going to present or talk about for your 20 minutes or hour or all day, whatever it is. Writing it down is one thing. Saying it out loud is totally different. As you talk about it, you will think of saying things that you never dreamed of writing down that aren't in your outline. As you speak, even to yourself, you'll think, oh, you'll remember a story. And you'll tell that story as part of the presentation, something that was never written down in the outline. So you have to practice. I'll tell you a story. When I first started my training company back in 1993, I did seminars all over the Midwest. I'm from Southern Indiana, that's why I talk funny. I don't know if you've picked up on that yet or not. Probably. And I used to do seminars all over the Midwest. So every week I would drive to Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, St. Louis, somewhere. I drove somewhere and I'd spend a few days doing seminars and I'd drive home. Well, I got in the habit of taking a small micro cassette tape player, hitting record and putting it in my pocket. And I would record maybe the first hour of the talk, maybe an hour of the talk that I was concerned about, a section or whatever. And then I would listen to that tape on the way home in the car. I would hear myself say things that I didn't know I was saying. A lot of times when a speaker's talking, you say the word okay too much, all right too much, too much, duh, maybe not duh. When you're speaking, you say words too often sometimes that you don't realize that you're saying until you hear the recording back. So I strongly suggest you do that. I've been a speaker since 1989. First time I ever spoke in public, except the time I was in Boy Scouts and had to speak to the Rotary Club and was scared to death. So in 1989, I began my public speaking career. I still record myself today. So if you think you're an experienced speaker and you don't need to do this, you're wrong. Everyone needs to do this all of the time. Now it's a lot easier. You don't have to have a micro cassette recorder. Everyone has iPhones or different kinds of phones and video, all kinds of ways to get this done. So you need to record yourself, listen, improve, and repeat. Another important thing that you need to do to help your presentations is tell stories. The people in the audience are there because what's in your head? What's in your head? They don't want you to give a presentation full of slides and talk about things that they could have easily looked up on the internet in about 5 seconds. They're there to hear you and to hear your stories. If you're an expert in whatever topic that you're an expert in, you've got stories. That's what they want to hear. You can use stories to teach, to train, to inform people about those specific parts of your topic that have affected you, that relate to you, and it's better done through stories. If you throw a slide up of a bunch of data, bunch of words, things like that, it's not going to have the impact than if you say, let me tell you a story. You can see the impact of stories on the audience. When you throw up a slide that has a spreadsheet, a bunch of data, maybe 15 bullet points, those kinds of slides, the people in the audience will slump down. But if you start telling an interesting story, it could even be an interesting story about the data that's on the spreadsheet slides that are so boring. It could be a story on that data, but when you start telling a story, people start sitting up. They start leaning in. Their eyes lock on you. So story is a great way to improve your engagement with your audience. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Hope it'll improve your public speaking experience and the experience of your audience and get you asked back many, many times. Please visit our website, llewellynlearning.com. You'll find more information there about us and what we do and how we might be able to help you. Thank you.